What if I told you that an ordinary penny hiding in your pocket could be worth more than a luxury mansion? From rare 1953 Lincoln wheat pennies to pristine 1998 Lincoln Memorial cents and flawless 2009 Lincoln Bicentennial designs, some of these tiny copper coins have shocked collectors with unbelievable prices. One perfect specimen can ignite bidding wars and change lives overnight. Before you spend that penny, look twice. Your fortune might be staring back at you. First up, the year 2009 in U.S. coinage isn't just another date. It marks the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, a moment so monumental that the United States Mint broke tradition and released not one, not two, but 4 different cent designs to capture the epic chapters of Lincoln's life. Among these, one stands above all others in rarity, mystery, and heart-stopping value: the birth and early childhood log cabin cent, a tiny copper disc with a story towering larger than life. Imagine holding in your hand a piece of American history that feels more like a relic unearthed from a forgotten frontier than a coin pulled from your pocket. The birth and early childhood cent depicts a humble log cabin, symbolizing Lincoln's origins in the rugged wilderness of Kentucky. That simple image, etched in copper, connects us to a time when the future president rose from the dust with nothing but grit, intelligence, and an unbreakable spirit. But here's where the true legend begins. Most of these coins were struck for circulation. Millions entered commerce, only to vanish quickly into collectors' hands, drawers, and forgotten jars. Yet among these, a tiny number survived in near-perfect condition, so pristine that modern graders would call them million-dollar quality. These are not just coins, they are silent powerhouses of value that make billionaires out of ordinary collectors overnight. In the numismatic world, collectors track condition with obsessive precision. A coin's grade, referring to its wear, surface quality, luster, and strike, can be the difference between a $5 artifact and a priceless treasure. The rarest birth and early childhood cents are those that show no signs of circulation, with every tiny detail still razor-sharp. Imagine the log cabin walls, the roof lines, the lettering, all perfectly intact, untouched by pockets or time. And here is where imagination meets reality. There are rumors, whispered in elite collecting circles, of 2009 log cabin cents that are so perfect they may command 7 figures at auction. Yes, you heard that right. A single humble penny, minted in 2009, could potentially be worth more than $1 million if its condition is beyond exceptional and verified by top grading services. Why such astronomical value? Because collectors don't just buy rarity, they buy stories, histories, and emotional resonance. Lincoln's journey from log cabin beginnings to the presidency is one of the most iconic in American lore. A coin celebrating that narrative, especially one in flawless condition, carries not just monetary worth but symbolic genius. Visualize a world where you casually discover one of these ultra-rare gems in a box of old coins. In an instant, your life changes. Friends gasp. News outlets call. You become the person who unearthed the holy grail of Lincoln cents, a piece so coveted that museums, billionaire collectors, and historical institutions would pay almost anything to add it to their vaults. But here's a powerful truth. Not all 2009 Lincoln Bicentennial log cabin coins are valuable. Most that were circulated and show where are worth their face value plus a modest collector premium. Only the ultra-high-grade survivors, those in flawless, uncirculated, perfect surfaces, hold the potential for unbelievable value. And even among those, only a very small number have the kind of eye appeal and perfection that drives millions at auction. In the rare collectible universe, these coins transcend the ordinary. They are like discovering an original work by a master artist long believed lost. Their scarcity is not just measured in numbers but in collector desire. Imagine being at a high-stakes auction. The bidding opens. Hand after hand goes up as millionaires and curators battle for ownership. The auctioneer's voice rises, 1.5 million, 2 million, and then a gasp as the final hammer drops. One single cent, minted in 2009, becomes a headline, the most coveted piece of Lincoln coinage ever sold. Words like incredible or phenomenal feel weak compared to the reality. These coins carry with them not just the imprint of Lincoln's memory, but the dreams of every collector who ever hoped to hold something truly extraordinary. They are time capsules bridging the past to the present, tiny gateways into American heritage. So if you possess one of these coins, and I mean one that is in absolutely stunning, no-perfect condition, do not spend it lightly. Don't trade it for a few dollars at a pawn shop. Don't overlook it in a dusty drawer. This small copper disc is more than currency. It may be your ticket to unimaginable wealth, a piece so potent it could rewrite your fortune overnight. In the end, the 2009 Lincoln Bicentennial birth and early childhood log cabin cent is more than a collectible. It's a symbol of what America once was and what it can still be, humble beginnings giving rise to boundless potential. For the right coin, in the right condition, value is not measured in cents, but in history, rarity, and the thrill of discovery. If you hold one of these rare survivors, honor its story. Protect it. Have it graded by reputable experts. Because in the universe of coins, some pieces are ordinary, and some are legends waiting to change lives forever. Second up, the 2009 Lincoln cent. At first glance, a humble penny, holds within it one of the most heart-pounding stories in modern numismatics. Among 4 distinct designs released that year to celebrate the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the professional life issue features Lincoln portrayed resolute and confident, standing before the Illinois state capitol, representing his rise from a humble lawyer to one of America's most respected politicians. This is not just a coin. This is a symbol of triumph, and in certain conditions, one that could possess unimaginable worth. Picture that moment in the spring of 2009, Americans across the country turning over their cents, barely noticing the intricate design of Lincoln gazing forward, ready to embark on the next chapter of his life. Most coins never left circulation, and most were spent, saved, or forgotten in jars. But a precious few survived untouched, so perfect that they are essentially time capsules, carrying the mint's original craftsmanship directly into the present day. Now imagine owning one of these survivors in flawless, million-condition quality, a coin so pristine that every tiny detail, from the building's columns to Lincoln's silhouette, sings with brilliance. In the rarefied world of serious collectors, condition is everything. A coin that has never been scratched, scuffed, or worn achieves a level of desirability that turns heads and drives bidders to heights few imagine possible. Some whisper that the perfect professional life cent, one graded at the absolute pinnacle of perfection by top grading services, could soar into the $1 million range at auction. Yes, a single penny, struck barely 2 decades ago, could potentially be worth more than many luxurious homes, simply because its condition is unmatched and its cultural resonance is powerful. It's not just about scarcity, it's about story, legacy, and emotional connection. Because this design doesn't just depict Lincoln's profession, it honors his journey from frontier life to the center of American government. It is a celebration of ambition, of lecture halls and courtrooms, of speeches that stirred hearts and changed the course of a nation. To many collectors, holding such a coin is like holding a piece of the American dream itself. But value in the coin world doesn't come from pretty designs alone. It is built on proof of perfection. When an extreme gem quality cent is submitted to professional grading, examined under magnification, scrutinized from every angle, and receives a top grade, its value skyrockets not incrementally, but exponentially. Suddenly, it ceases to be a penny and becomes an artifact of historical beauty. Imagine walking into a high-stakes auction hall. Cameras flash. Bidders in suits lift their paddles with competitive fire. A coin is brought forward, scanned under lights, and the auctioneer begins. Starting bid, $500,000, 1 million, 1.5, 2 million. When it finally sells, the room erupts. A 2009 Lincoln cent, in perfect professional life condition, commands a price that could make headlines, the penny that changed someone's world overnight. Some envision stories of collectors discovering these treasures in old collections or forgotten wallets, unaware of what they truly held. One moment, an ordinary penny. The next, the centerpiece of dreams, auctions, and life-changing opportunity. These coins don't just represent money, they represent potential, a spark of fortune that could reshape futures. Yet not all are equal. Plenty of professional life cents out there show the softening of years, dulled luster, minor scratches, worn surfaces. These are beautiful in their own right, valuable to collectors of history and everyday interest. But they don't carry that astronomical dream potential like the flawless survivors. Only the ones preserved with near-miraculous perfection can even approach the realm of 7 figures. And let's be clear, this is not fantasy. In the realm of rare coins, values are driven by a whirlwind of passion, competition, and reverence for history. Coins tied to iconic figures and powerful narratives often carry emotional weight far beyond their metal. When that weight intersects with rare condition, the result is something extraordinary, a tiny disc that could very realistically become a life-altering asset. If you hold such a specimen, untouched by wear, gleaming as though freshly minted, do not succumb to impatience or uncertainty. Do not spend it casually. Have it authenticated and graded by trusted experts who can certify its condition. Because once that certification is in hand, the coin transforms from a simple piece of copper into a collector's dream target. Imagine the conversations it could spark, the network of enthusiasts and investors who would vie to own it, the auctions that would feature it. You would not merely be selling a coin, you would be offering a chance to hold a moment in history, a snapshot of Lincoln's legacy in tangible form. And that kind of offering is what drives values beyond imagination. So remember, the Professional Life 2009 Lincoln Cent is much more than spare change. In select, immaculate condition, it stands as a monument to aspiration, both Lincoln's and yours. It is a reminder that sometimes the seemingly ordinary can contain the extraordinary, that fortunes can hide in plain sight, waiting for the moment they are recognized and unleashed. And for one lucky holder, one person with vision and patience, this humble penny might be the key to a future they never dreamed possible. Third up, there are coins, and then there are legends, and the 2009 Lincoln Cent formative years falls into the latter category when found in exceptionally rare, no perfect condition. This penny does more than commemorate a moment in history. It embodies a journey, telling the gripping story of Abraham Lincoln's life in Indiana, where he grew from a youth of promise into a man of character, strength, and unshakable resolve. Few designs spark the imagination like this one, and in the right condition, some argue its value is nothing short of extraordinary. In the year 2009, to celebrate the 200th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, the United States Mint released 4 unique designs on the 1-cent coin, each portraying an iconic phase of Lincoln's life. Among them, the formative years design is strikingly powerful, Lincoln striding forward with determination, set against a field of symbolic imagery that whispers of forests, rails, and the shaping of a destiny. Most pennies with this design entered circulation and faded into everyday life, their artistic brilliance unnoticed by casual spenders. But among them, an exceedingly small number survived with untouched perfection. The magic of coins lies not just in their imagery but in their condition. When we talk about rarity, we're referring not only to how many were made, but how many survived without blemish. Imagine a formative years cent so flawless that its surfaces gleam as though the mint's presses had just released it moments before your eyes. The lustrous sheen, the razor-sharp details, the crispness of Lincoln's figure. In that state, this coin is not just money, it's history preserved in copper. Now, let your mind grasp this. In elite numismatic circles, condition is the ultimate currency. A coin graded at the pinnacle of perfection, one so pristine that it defies the erosion of time, can command prices that make even seasoned collectors catch their breath. There are whispers that a perfect formative years cent might be worth millions of dollars, not a figure tossed around lightly, but one grounded in the reality of how determined collectors value history, beauty, and preservation. Picture yourself holding such a coin. Feel the copper weight between your fingers, look at Lincoln's determined gaze, and realize, this is not ordinary change. This is a story, one of humble beginnings in Indiana's frontier woods, of young Lincoln learning, growing, and finding strength. It's a story the world reveres, and collectors are drawn to stories. They aren't merely buying metal, they are buying meaning. And value, in the rare coin world, is emotional as much as it is monetary. When a specimen like this is submitted to professional grading, examined, authenticated, and given a top-tier grade, its transformation is dramatic. Suddenly, what was once a penny becomes a target of obsession for collectors, museums, and investors alike. The certified perfection becomes a standard-bearer for the design's ultimate rarity. Imagine the spectacle, an auction hall filled with anticipation, the tension humming like electricity in the air. Bidders sit poised, paddles in hand, eyes locked on a moment that could define their collecting legacy. The auctioneer raises his gavel and calls the opening bid, and like heartbeats racing, the numbers climb, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million. In that room of history and competition, a tiny penny could reach heights most would never believe possible. Such scenes are not mere dreams. They are the natural culmination when rarity, condition, and story merge into a single, breathtaking opportunity. A flawless formative years cent isn't just a piece of copper. It's a portal to Indiana's pioneer echoes, a testament to Lincoln's resilience, and a gem that could, in the right hands, unlock unimaginable wealth. Think of the collector who discovers this coin tucked away in a forgotten album or passed down through generations. One moment, it's a curiosity. The next, it's a ticket to opportunity, a whisper of destiny that could rewrite their life overnight. That's the compelling pull of coins like this. When perfection is found, value accelerates beyond ordinary imagination. Of course, most formative years cents are common. They show light wear, softened details, and the patina of everyday use. These are beautiful pieces of history and hold value as such. But the ones that stir million-dollar dreams are the superlative survivors, those rarely seen by even seasoned collectors, that shine with original mint luster and impeccable surfaces. Only a tiny fraction earns this distinction. And here lies the deeper truth. Value is not just in the object, but in the eye of the beholder. A collector who loves Lincoln's story sees the formative years' design as more than art. It's a connection to a defining chapter in American heritage. A perfect specimen speaks across centuries, evoking forest trails, log cabins, and the forging of character. That emotional pull, intertwined with rarity, creates a market where prices soar. So, if you're fortunate enough to hold one of these coins, and by fortunate I mean a specimen that shows no wear, gleams with purity, and holds every detail with crystal precision, do not treat it like loose change. Do not spend it at face value, nor trade it hastily. This coin may represent not just history, but transformational potential, the kind that could reshape your fortunes. Take it to trusted experts. Have it graded by the highest authorities. Let its perfect surfaces be recognized, documented, and certified. Once that happens, the coin leaves the realm of ordinary and enters the arena of legend, sought after, desired, and bid on by collectors who understand the gravity of such a find. In the end, the 2009 Lincoln Cent formative years is not merely a collectible. In rare, perfect condition, it is a testament to time, perseverance, and the powerful allure of history captured in metal. And for the holder of such a masterpiece, the possibilities may be as limitless as the story this coin so beautifully tells. Fourth up, there are ordinary coins, and then there are legends hidden in plain sight, waiting patiently to transform a life. Among these, the 1998 United States Lincoln Memorial Cent stands as a silent titan of possibility, a copper disc that, in the right condition, carries a story far richer than its humble face value. Most people see pennies and think of spare change, but the rarest Lincoln Memorial coins can carry the weight of dreams and unimaginable wealth. The year 1998 introduced Lincoln Memorial cents into circulation with a design familiar and beloved, Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the somber, majestic image of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. This coin was minted in the billions and spent in everyday commerce, so most examples simply vanished into pockets and piggy banks. Yet among those masses walked a microscopic handful of specimens so perfect, so untouched by time, that they defy ordinary valuation. To understand their power, imagine the coin not as currency but as a snapshot of American life frozen in copper and artistry. The Lincoln Memorial, itself a symbol of reverence, reflection, and historic grandeur, on a cent was intended to remind citizens of legacy. But for the rare few, it became more than symbolism. It became a portal to extraordinary value. The secret lies in condition. In numismatics, condition is king, and perfection is the throne. Most 1998 pennies show signs of everyday use, soft edges, faint scratches, worn lettering. But a tiny number survived in an almost mythical state. They emerged from the mint and then, by sheer fortune, avoided every scratch, every pinch of pocket friction, every careless handling. These coins sit today in collectors' vaults looking almost as if they were struck yesterday. Now imagine one of these survivors, a 1998 Lincoln Memorial cent so pristine that its surfaces still shine with original luster, the tiniest details of the memorial crisp, the text sharp and unbroken. This is no longer a penny. This is a numismatic jewel, a treasure that could shock the world when revealed. In elite collecting circles, condition like this doesn't just add value, it explodes value. Legends circulate about coins from this year that, if submitted to grading services and found to be perfect at the highest possible level, flawless, unblemished, radiant with untouched mint brilliance, might one day fetch sums approaching or even exceeding the $1 million threshold. And once a coin crosses into that territory, it becomes something no longer measured by mere numbers. It becomes a story of possibility. Picture an auction house buzzing with anticipation, the lights glinting off glass displays, the crowd leaning forward as a tiny object takes center stage. The auctioneer's voice rings out. Opening bid, 1 million. Paddle after paddle raises. The tension builds. And when the final hammer falls, the room explodes. A single Lincoln Memorial penny, minted in 1998 and preserved in astonishing perfection, has just rewritten the expectations of what a coin can be worth. In such moments, the room isn't just filled with collectors, it's filled with whispering dreams. Museums, private investors, heirs to legacy collections, and passionate historians all compete for that rare jewel, driven not by copper content but by powerful narrative value. They see in that pristine coin not spare change, but a symbol of history, luck, timing, and exceptional preservation. But let's be crystal clear. This immense value does not lie in the average coin you might find in your pocket change. A circulated 1998 Lincoln Memorial cent, worn, faded, touched by time, holds mainly emotional or sentimental value. Its worth in the collector market is modest. But the unimaginable potential, the sort that could change a life in an instant, lives only in the coins that escaped wear entirely. Think of the collectors who have spent lifetimes chasing perfection. They understand that every imperfection chips away at value, but every flawless surface adds exponential power. A perfect 1998 Lincoln Memorial cent represents not just rarity, but untouched history, a piece of time that slipped through the cracks of everyday life and survived, pristine and magnetic. And the power of that narrative cannot be overstated. A single coin, when verified and certified as perfect by the highest authorities in grading, becomes a target for serious collectors worldwide. These people don't just bid with money, they bid with intent, emotion, heritage, and sometimes rivalry. They see in such a coin a moment worth preserving forever. Imagine holding such a coin. Think of the weight of possibility in your hand. This is not just metal, it's potential unleashed. For one person, one collector, one lucky individual, this coin could be the difference between ordinary life and unimaginable transformation. It could elevate a financial reality overnight, shifting fortunes in ways few ever thought possible from a penny. Yet, the true magic lies not just in what the coin is, but what it represents. It's not simply about money, it's about story, mystery, luck, and human fascination with rarity. It's about the thrill of discovery, the rush of competition, and the realization that history sometimes hides its greatest treasures in plain sight. So if you ever find yourself holding a 1998 Lincoln Memorial cent that glows with perfection, a coin so pristine it takes your breath away, don't spend it carelessly. Don't trade it away for face value or let it slip into a jar of other coins. This could be the one coin capable of rewriting your financial story. It could be the one that changes your future overnight. In the world of rare coins, nothing is guaranteed, but when story, condition, and symbolism converge in one extraordinary piece, that tiny copper disc has the potential to become a cornerstone of wealth and legacy. And for the person who holds such a treasure, the possibilities are, quite simply, breathtaking. Fifth up, there are coins that sit unnoticed in jars, forgotten in drawers, and there are coins that hold a dream so powerful that time itself seems to bow to them. Among these, the 1953 Lincoln Wheat penny stands as a quiet but thunderous echo of possibility, a tiny copper disc that, in the right condition, has captured the imagination of serious collectors, dreamers, and anyone who understands that sometimes history and fortune can intersect in the most unexpected places. The Lincoln Wheat penny, with its humble obverse portrait of Abraham Lincoln and its delicate reverse bearing twin wheat ears, was everyday currency for millions of Americans. It bought candy, paid bus fares, and jingled in pockets from coast to coast. But behind that everyday exterior lies a story of survival against time, and in a select few cases, the power to astoundingly change a life overnight. Most 1953 wheat cents quietly circulated for decades, rubbing against other coins, bouncing in pockets, bearing the soft impressions of daily wear. These coins are reminders of an era when cash meant freedom, and every penny counted. But once in a rare blue moon, one of these pennies escaped that fate, preserved in something close to pristine, never-handled perfection. And that's when its value stops being ordinary and starts being legendary. To grasp what makes such a coin precious, imagine seeing one that looks as though it was struck yesterday, every detail crisp, every surface untouched, the wheat ears on the reverse standing tall like sentinels of history. In the rarefied world of coin collecting, condition is everything. The closer a coin is to the moment it left the mint, the more value it accumulates, and in some instances, that value doesn't just grow, it explodes. Among seasoned collectors, whispers circulate about 1953 wheat pennies that have emerged from old estate collections or forgotten envelopes looking so flawless that experts gasp. Coins like these have undergone professional evaluation, graded at the absolute pinnacle of quality, earning scores that say, virtually perfect, mint brilliance intact, a survivor of time itself. And when a specimen like that surfaces, the auction room changes from a marketplace into a theater of dreams. Picture this, an elegant auction hall, hushed anticipation, and all eyes fixed on a tiny copper disc under bright lights. The auctioneer's voice slices through the quiet. Opening bid, 1 million. Then 2 million, followed by 3 million. Paddle after paddle rises amid tense breath and pounding hearts. This isn't just a collectible being sold. It is a legend being transferred from one dreamer to another. In that moment, the 1953 Lincoln Wheat penny becomes more than metal. It becomes a symbol of luck, legacy, and human fascination with rarity. Who doesn't thrill at the idea that an everyday object, something minted in staggering numbers, could be preserved in such miraculous condition that it becomes one of the rarest survivors of its era? This is the magic of numismatics, where everyday life meets extraordinary potential. But let's be clear, this kind of value does not belong to every 1953 cent. Most wheat pennies from this year are charming reminders of the past, yes, but they are touched by wear, circulation, and the passing of generations. These are valuable in their own right as pieces of history that tell a story, but they do not carry the kind of astronomical potential that we speak of here. The coins that could fetch values in the realm of millions are the ones that escape time altogether, coins with surfaces so mint-fresh that they dazzle. These are not coins found every day. They are the coins that give auctions headlines, that make collectors lean in, that send ripples through the numismatic world and beyond. Imagine yourself holding such a coin. Feel its copper weight. Study those unblemished fields and sharp details. It's as though the coin has paused in time, waiting for someone with vision, someone who sees not just a penny, but a treasure of infinite potential. It's moments like these that make collectors' hearts race and make ordinary people dream of sudden transformation. Because here's the truth, a coin that truly boasts mint perfection, with original luster, impeccable surfaces, and razor-sharp features, isn't just rare. It is the kind of rarity that turns stories into headlines, dreams into reality, and collectors into legends. These coins do not exist in piles of everyday change. They wait hidden in old collections, deep in albums, tucked away in forgotten drawers. And when they are finally found, when someone realizes they are holding a specimen of unimaginable quality, the world watches. Museums might gaze longingly. Private collectors will raise their paddles. Wealthy investors might compete with passionate historians. And in that electric moment, a coin becomes more than currency. It becomes a catalyst of possibility. So if you ever find yourself in possession of a 1953 Lincoln Wheat penny that practically glows with newness, that appears untouched by wear, that seems to whisper "look closer," then do not be hasty. Do not spend it casually. Do not overlook the quiet power it may hold. Take it to trusted, reputable experts. Have it professionally graded, authentically and transparently, because once that perfection is confirmed, the story changes completely. A coin that earns the highest grades in professional evaluation enters a different realm. It steps out of the ordinary world and into the arena of legendary collectibles, the kind that make headlines, that reshape futures, and that spawn tales of ordinary people whose fortunes were redefined overnight. In the end, the 1953 Lincoln Wheat penny is more than a coin. In its rarest, most flawless forms, it is a testament to the whispers of history and the dreams of what might be. And for the person lucky enough to hold such a diamond in the rough, the future may look brighter than they ever dared imagine.